of our national chapter application.
Our FFA chapter was selected to spend time with the New York Commissioner of Agriculture, Mr. Richard Ball, while in Indianapolis. We attended the showing of the Speak Ag video showcase and he was highly impressed with our video, which you will see shortly. In addition, 5 of our graduates were honored with the American FFA degree, including Gail McAndrew, who made the trip to Indianapolis to walk across the stage in person.
Our Speak Ag showcase was selected to be presented on the student showcase stage, and we knew this meant we had placed top 10 in the nation. There potentially were 156 entries for this event in all 50 states and 2 territories submitted in their top 3 videos. When the results were announced, Tri Valley placed third in the nation for the video and was recognized with a banner and the video being highlighted during the pre-session with our chapter name on the Jumbotron. It was a whirlwind. We'd like to show you our video submission now, and if you have questions, we can answer them when it is finished.
I believe in the future of agriculture. The future of New York agriculture is reliant on the next generation of growers, scientists, and consumers. We are proud of the work being done to grow all aspects of ag.
New York is an agricultural powerhouse, even though many people only think of New York City. These are the top 10 agricultural commodities in our state. Youth in New York are actively involved in the production of these commodities, and the members of Tri Valley FFA also excel in these areas.
I believe that to live and work on a good farm or to be engaged in other agricultural pursuits is pleasant as well as challenging. To grow a thriving horse business, 2024 American degree recipient Alora Carey produces bales of hay. This agricultural pursuit is one example of quality SAE and forage production. Last year, New York farmers produced 2.37 million tons of hay. Alora's operation is just a small portion of this total, but without the feed, the horses would not be possible. I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others. Our school orchard grows 5 varieties of apples. Our members in grades 5 through 12 respect the work needed to be done in the orchard, learning to harvest the produce and care for the trees. New York ranks second in apple production, producing an average of 29.5 million bushels per year. Tri Valley FFA is one of the 600 commercial growers in New York and provides work opportunities for many youth. I believe in my own ability to work efficiently and think clearly.
The Tri Valley Blooms Flower Shop, led by member Maya Avara, teaches members skills to be successful florists. In New York, floriculture ranked 6th in the nation for total commercial sales in 2023, with roughly $175.1 million. Cut flowers round out the production with an estimated $6 million worth of sales.
I believe in less dependence on begging and more power in bargaining.
The Tri Valley Community Garden produces food for those rounding out the top 10 commodities with cabbage, sweet corn, potatoes, and tomatoes. All products grown on our school grounds and the more than 3,000 other community gardens across the state of New York. Our members learn to grow food for themselves and share with others.
Agriculture in New York is a staple of the economy and is vital to the population. To keep our state strong, we need to keep living the FFA creed because we believe that American agriculture can and will hold true.
Okay, great, perfect. Okay. So they got third at nationals for that, so that was very exciting. So they were holding up the banner during that. So since getting back from nationals, we have not slowed down. We never do. The last thing that we wanted to talk about is our trip to Italy that we're hoping to have in the summer of 2025. This is a trip through EF Tours, and it is called the Cuisine and Cultural Tour of Southern Italy. You can see I have the proposed itinerary here. This trip is a trip that we've discussed prior to COVID, and we would like to offer to the entire chapter to go, but especially our hardworking juniors and seniors. It includes many agriculture opportunities and allows the students to see agriculture on a global scale. The estimated cost for the trip is about $5,000 per person, and Miss B will work with members to fundraise and find financial assistance. We are not asking the school for financial assistance, and if students and parents or the community want to attend, they are welcome. EF does offer payment plans, trip insurance, and provides guides. Mrs. Burke has traveled with this group extensively and is excited to offer another international opportunity to students. She plans to hold a parent meeting in the next 2 weeks to find out interest and will travel with kids if there is interest for the trip. Are there any questions that you have about our activities, our National FFA experience, or our trip to Italy? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great presentation. Thank you. Okay, our next item is going to be item 4B is monthly administrative reports.
All right, good evening, and I will start us off. So November 1st was our superintendent conference day. It was the superintendent's conference day for the whole county. So we're trying to plan and get trainings here. We did kind of a choice board for our staff to see what they would really need. We tried to have a variety of options, and we were able to open up some of our trainings to some of our neighboring districts. We had people from Eldridge, Sullivan West, Valley Central, BOCES, and Livingston Manor all come here to attend some of the trainings that we had put on for our staff. Since we all were off, we had the ability to open it up with the seats, and a lot of our new spaces really helped us expand our reach. So then we had a synchronous day where we had actual time trainings, and then we had some asynchronous times for either groups to work or not. So some of the things we brought in was the Sullivan 180 Youth Mental Health. That came from a grant from Sullivan 180 that Lou Gillis and Nicole Temple brought to us. Working with BOCES, we were able to bring in a representative for Mercy College to work on the new science investigations up in one of our science labs. Jackie Trotty-Noren and her social studies team asked if they could bring in the New York Historical Society. So they came in to really delve in and dive into civics, democracy, American Revolution, and the vote. The Center for Discovery had a ABA training. So we had that last year. It was requested we offer it again, and then an enhanced session. So Ms. Cornish was able, through her 611 and 619 grant, to fund and bring them in. We had Parent Square trainings. We had Magic School AI training. We had a bunch of varieties for our teachers to do. And then if that didn't fit one of their needs, we had some asynchronous time. So some of our ongoing trainings we have with trainers coming throughout the year is UFly. That's a phonics program. So some of our teachers who have already been getting training during the school year and day, we're able to work in teams and really dive into that. The Writing Revolution, again, to enhance our literacy program. And our secondary math team has been working with a consultant. So we gave them some opportunities to work and really look at their data, look at performance indicators. How does this work? How can we help them? We offer de-escalation training, which is a 2.5-hour training where our teachers were able to go through a pamphlet and have some worksheets and kind of just prep if a kid is starting to escalate. What are the steps to bring that student down so they can remain in the classroom? We had a self-paced trauma-informed training. And then Brianna Commando actually got an extension with the RIC so we could offer this training. The grade book on School Tool has changed and some standard-based grading options are different. So they had each of those are a 1-hour session that we were able to extend. We really only had to extend it one day. It was going to cut off on the 31st. So she reached out. They extended it for us. So we were able to offer a variety of options for our teachers to fill their day. And I think the teachers appreciated it. The staff would really embrace kind of having the options and treating them like professionals and really getting some of the needs that we needed done but letting them pick what works for their classroom and for their kids. Anyone have any questions?
Quick question about opening up our district to other districts. Has that ever happened before?
So, from my understanding, typically BOCES would have opened this up. We had offered ours as a satellite for trainings to happen. For whatever reason, that didn't quite manifest. So sometimes we would send our people to different areas. So it didn't happen. We had the opportunity. Everyone was off. We had the space. So we decided to be good neighbors and open it up for other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item number 5 is these. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know you were there. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. So I just wanted to give you a little update. We've had quite a few new students enter the building since the fall has started. So we just completed, with all the new students, I hold 30-day transfer meetings just to see how they're doing, and if we need to make any adjustments to 504 or IEP plans. That has worked out really nicely. The parents appreciate it because they get a chance to meet the teachers early on, and just see where the students are, what needs they have, and how they're doing since they've transferred into the district. Something else new that we've tried this year is called the Bare Necessities. So down at the lower level in pre-kindergarten UPK, we had the related service providers, so our OT and speech providers pushed into all the classrooms, working closely with the teachers in small group instruction to help some of the students on necessities or bare necessities that they may not get fully embrace or encounter at home. So they work on things like tongue placement for speech. They picked up a couple trending things that they've seen across the last couple years and worked with the students, things like cutting, how to hold a marker, crayon, stuff like that, so that the students have those readiness skills right out the gate when they're starting in UPK. And as Mr. Snyder said, this is the second time that the Center for Discovery has come here into the district. Through my grant, I'm able to have them come in and work with small groups of teachers on ABA, which is Applied Behavior Analysis principles, to help with some behavior management needs in the classrooms. It's nothing that we mandate any of the teachers to do. Like Mr. Snyder said, they can pick that if they choose. So we had a wide variety of teachers choose that course this year. It's a very good participation in it, and quite a few of the schools, neighboring schools, also chose that as a training. That's all I have. Any questions?
I did have one question. So you said for pre-K and kindergarten, the therapist pushed in. Is that not something that is normally practiced for all grades?
No, this is the first time that we've had them do that. So it's just something that we have talked about in the past 2 years or so, having them work in the very beginning of the school year when we changed over how we do the screenings for UPK. That was just part of our new rollout or implementation plan of the whole process, so that those kids that might need a little extra boost on how to use certain things, or like I said, shaping words and stuff like that, get the boost right in the beginning of the school year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in my own experience, because I work at the Center for Discovery, I've seen that pushing in benefits
Yeah.
students a lot more.
Yeah, and a lot of the service providers in the past couple years, we are trending towards pushing in for the services. Definitely up at the upper grades, the speech therapist pushes in for the self-contained class when they have ELA. So she's pushing in a lot during that time period instead of pulling the kids out of the class and missing instruction. So either they work with the teachers to try to find the least impact to academics when they're working with the students, but we are trying to trend more towards pushing in the classroom to provide the service within the classroom setting. Any other questions?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Daniel.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So the last time that I was at the podium, I was having a discussion about our Panorama software. As we know, that was the software that came along with the MTSS framework that we piloted last year, that this year is in full effect. That survey did go out and the results have been received. We had some technical glitches, which we would have expected as it was our first time trying to send out a survey to student emails and then be able to gather their responses back. But for the most part, I would have to say that it was successful after we got over some of those hurdles. I certainly want to thank the tech team for being very helpful and immediate in trying to help us problem solve some of those things. And the Panorama company was certainly very responsive to us as we went through the process. So we did have about 48% of our students respond to the survey. That was the student population was grades 3 through 12. So now that we have those results back, now the administrative team has an opportunity to kind of dig through it. As we dig through that information and see how the students reply to some of those questions, we'll be able to take some next steps and decide what it is that we want to be able to bring to our students and bring to our buildings in order to continue our improvement. Certainly student responses to those questions is always very helpful because we know we work hard, we think we're doing a good job, but it's really the impact of how the students see us doing. So that is certainly going to be some next steps and next directions we're going to be going in. I've been able to meet with grade level teams. So as we started this school year, the MTSS framework was presented district-wide. The last couple of weeks, I've been able to actually go in, starting with the elementary building with Mr. Carbone, to have some very private, intimate conversations with them about specifically how this MTSS framework is going to be supporting their grade levels and their classroom and their students. I feel like all the teachers were very receptive to where we are with it, and they asked some really great questions. So I appreciate their attention, and certainly they know that if they have any questions along the way, that Mr. Carbone and I are both here to help support. I was able to go ahead and attend a McKinney-Vento Act training. So at the last board meeting, one of the appointments was for the the McKinney-Vento liaison to be one of the community service really titles that goes along with the MTSS position. So part of the MTSS title I have is also community services, and this McKinney-Vento is right along those lines. The McKinney-Vento federal law requires that schools support students who are in temporary housing or homeless or qualified as homeless. So during that conference, I was able to get a really clear idea as to how other schools support their students who are temporarily displaced or students who are unaccompanied youth, students who unfortunately have had parents that have splits or have some really disappointing and sad circumstances. So this conference was the opportunity for me to learn a little bit more about it. I also made some really great contacts with people at the state level. So if any time we have any questions or we need support, I'm able to give a call to a hotline number. Dan Martinelli is one of the contacts there at the state, and he's been very supportive of any questions that I've had ever since. I would like to thank Brianna Commando, who's been great in me since I came back. I've gone to her to make sure that our system is clean. So I've been going to her with some of the information and making sure that our data that we're reporting to the state is absolutely reflective of the population of students that we have that would qualify as McKinney-Vento students. What that does is it enables us to be able to allocate certain federal monies to those students to be sure that we're supporting them in all of their needs as they face these very hard times. We did have a student, unfortunately, who is in a temporary housing situation. We were able most recently to be able to give her a hotspot, as her family was unable at this point to have any kind of internet access. Again, tech department was great. As soon as I said that there was a need, we got it hooked up. And again, that qualification and that classification it allows us to be able to provide these kinds of supports to students, and there are federal monies involved with that. Our registration process, Ms. Long has given me the charge of taking a look to be sure that the way that we are welcoming families who are entering our building and entering our community is in true bear fashion. So I would like to thank Angela Muller, Brianna Commando, and Jacqueline Chemist. They've been great in just answering some questions I've had. I've been able to sit in on 2 different registrations, a family that was just registering 1 child and another family that was registering 3, to see what that looks like. So certainly in the coming weeks, I'll be sharing all of those types of findings with the superintendent and making recommendations for anything that I think we could certainly be doing better. But they've been great. And I can tell you that the families, every time that I was in the room, they were saying what great things they hear about Tri-Valley. So that was certainly reassuring to be able to hear that. Some other things that have been going on, we have the MTSS in the elementary building. Those meetings are happening. So at this point in the school year, as we're finishing marking period 1, teachers have had the ability to get to know their students. They've been able to assess them. And at this time, they've been able to set some goals and some educational, maybe they need a little extra support. So those meetings and that kind of reaching out to the MTSS office and what that process looks like was explained to teachers, and they're using it, where we're able to have meetings and certainly talk about what some of the weaknesses and strengths are of the students and be able to set some good goals and also get some extra support when needed. So those meetings are happening. I've had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Fantini and be able to sit with the secondary school counselors, as well as that crossover of the 6th grade school counselors, in order to have conversations about students whose attendance might be being flagged at this point, to find out who in fact has a rapport with these students and see what we can do to help support them to keep any kind of poor attendance trends from starting up. The school counselors were excellent in being able to say, I know that student, or this teacher knows that student. We're really trying to catch them before they become chronic absentee students. And really that is the framework of this MTSS program. I've been coordinating with Selvin Bosse's. We have a student in one of their programs there. They were having a very difficult time in getting a parent to respond to them. I was brought in on the loop, and since then we've had some great success in being able to get the parent to better understand what supports are being offered. Sometimes it's just the way that we're communicating with families, especially when you have strangers calling your phone trying to tell you certain things about your child, they can be a little bit resistant. So we've had some great success, and Mr. Carbone was in on some of those conversations so that this parent could become familiar with him as well, so that we're all familiar voices. But we've had some great conversations with BOCES and being sure that we're supporting any of our students that are over there. And finally, as you see in the picture, I would really like to thank our SRO, Lydia. She has been excellent, certainly a wonderful presence. And we have one of our students pictured there, who her adult aspiration is to be a forensic investigator. So upon hearing that, I asked Lydia if she would be willing to sit and speak with this young lady about what some of that looks like and what it means. And they had a wonderful conversation, and I heard some great feedback from that student's mother, who said that she wants to do that more now than ever. So that's my update. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So in the tech department, we are continuing on some of the deployments that I've shared with you in the past. We are almost complete, I believe, with the installation of vape sensors throughout the secondary. We are continuing installation of the additional cameras to improve coverage throughout, especially the outside areas. And we are finishing up our PC replacements of aging PCs that are aging out of our organization, aging out of support, and therefore aging out of useful life for us. On the cybersecurity side, this is kind of what I like to refer to as the invisible work. This is the work that when our IT team is doing everything that needs to be doing is appropriately invisible to everyone around. It's only when we don't do this sort of thing that it becomes very front and center in people's minds. So some of the things on that end of things that have been keeping us very, very busy of late are server patching, a major patch for our firewall and VPN endpoint, patches on the PCs. There have been a number of very serious vulnerabilities of late that left unpatched could allow attackers into the network. Key network hardware patching of our network storage, and our risk assessment, the technology portion of our risk assessment we're just finishing up. And that risk assessment really feeds into our budget building for the next year. our decisions on where we want to spend not only our time, but our effort and everything to make sure that we're continually moving forward, continually making ourselves that next bit more secure. And finally, on the personal side, I've been finalizing my presentation for the NYSCATE conference. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, that's the New York State Computers and Technology and Education Conference. I'm presenting at that this year on our cloud storage protection project. We were really in the forefront in New York State on that. As part of our previous risk assessment efforts, I really identified the fact that while most schools store very little of their data in-house anymore, the vast majority of almost every school's data is stored out in the cloud. There really hasn't been parity in education yet for the measures we take to protect that data. So the cloud data was really much more vulnerable than our internal data, despite the kind of the measures that most schools were taking. And since we enacted that project, we've had, I believe, 2 other schools in Sullivan County who've now jumped on board, recognized that need after I presented to them, and have also gone on board with this same product that we have, and a number of others in New York State as well, reportedly. So I'll be presenting on that to my colleagues up there. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So a couple of things going on in secondary school, as I'm sure you have noticed, and I know a couple of our board members had attended our Veterans Day Assembly, but something new this year that we implemented was our Field of Flags. And that was in partnership with our Social Studies Department kind of heading that. We were able to raise almost $500 for the Disabled American Veterans Association. And each of our flags were put out by our secondary students. We held an assembly. Mr. Walsh from the Sullivan County area for the veterans came in and did a little bit of a conversation with our students, and it was an amazing ceremony. Everyone was super respectful, and it was fantastic to see our students really paying attention and being involved and doing something so great with our community that can be represented. So those are still out there, and they'll be coming down at the end of this week. And then our Veterans Day Assembly really kind of culminated all of that work, and it was really, again, a respectful ceremony. Our students were really involved in that, and it was fantastic to see. Our attendance outreach is going strong. You know, we're hitting those months where we start to see our attendance numbers dropping, and we are really working and focusing. We have MTSS working through this. Our Mr. Fantini's been working on this a lot, and we've been really going through these numbers daily. So every morning we look at our attendance counts, we look at our numbers. We've been setting up home visits. Our SRO has been going out. Some of our counselors have been going out with her to make sure that our students are being seen and heard and are noticed that they are not in school. And we're really trying to do that outreach and make sure that there's no hurdles that they're missing or something that we can provide to help get them here. We've been setting up guardian meetings that have been super successful and really partnering with the families to try to get our students in school where they need to be. So we've been doing a lot of work around that. Our after-school programs have started, and registration is available on our website through Arbiter. These are constantly changing and being added, especially as seasons are changing. We have some new clubs coming in, and as always, our academic support is started, and a lot of our students are attending it. Those numbers are way up. We are also offering it to some of our high schoolers as well, which usually wasn't happening. So some of our high schools are partaking in that, and it's really been a helpful resource for a lot of people and really helpful for us as well and teachers to be able to help those students, catch them up where they need to be, and really help with some of that overwhelmingness that can come from missing anything or missing school. We also worked this year really hard with the guidance department on trying to provide more opportunities for our students outside of this area. So we've had a lot of college representative visits, more than we had last year already. Cobleskill has come, Oswego's come, University of Albany, Binghamton, Delhi, Mount St. Mary, RIT, and we have many more set up for the rest of the school year. These are offered during the day. Students can come down on their own time and they can talk to the different representatives that are here. We also have set up this year something new with our guidance department. They're taking a large group of students to SUNY Delhi and SUNY Oneonta coming up, and they're doing a day trip to go visit those campuses. And again, it just provides another opportunity and equity for all of our students to be able to go on these trips and experience these things. We're also doing a lot with our career readiness program and internships and CDOS program and representing different career opportunities right here in our school. So this is just really opening the doors for a lot of these students. As we all know, quarter one is ending this Friday on the 15th, and we will be representing and honoring all of those students that are working hard and showcasing them with our honor roll breakfast. And then we will be doing that each quarter. We'll have a different celebration. And then at the end, we're going to be doing a culminating recognition for those students and families that want to partake. So that's all the exciting things happening right now. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I know the first thing says student council. I'm going to get to that in a second, but I did wanted to highlight today. This was done before today, so I didn't know what was going to happen. I ended up walking into a first grade classroom when I was doing my instructional rounds this morning to a lot of turmoil as they were working on math. So I popped in and I said what was going on, and there was a group of kids playing Go Fish. So I jumped in. I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that. I can play Go Fish. And then I lost. And I lost because they changed the rules on me. But they were taking not pairs like I was used to. So I was like trying to hoard all the pairs I possibly could. And it was numbers that added to 10. So I was asked, do you have a 3? And I was like, sure. And then a girl put a 7 and a 3 down. I'm like, wait, no, you can't do that. It's got to be a pair. She's like, no, we're doing 10s. I said, oh, okay. And I learned real fast that they had the upper hand. So it was a great instructional moment, and it highlighted the differentiation that takes place in these classrooms on small levels that we sometimes overlook. And I think it's really important jumping in the classroom, seeing what they're doing, and seeing how the teachers are able to manipulate little things in their realm to get points across to their students. It was really powerful, and it wasn't on the list because we did this earlier. Back to this though, student council elections took place this week on Tuesday afternoon. We had 25th and 6th grade students pitching their ideas in the democratic process about what they were going to do to make the school better. It was really great. We held the election right after the presentations, and the school president and vice president were elected. I believe they're pictured right there. So next week we have our class homeroom representatives that are going to be voted upon, and then we'll start working internally with the governance of that and start planning our first sneaker night, which should be coming up in December.
Okay, parent-teacher conferences will be coming up very soon. Also, Bear Awards and Honor Roll Breakfast will be up as well. As far as the Bear Awards, the quarter one awards will be distributed next week. Students are very excited about that. They asked me numerous times about it. UPK and K Bear Awards will be distributed on Monday, the 18th. First and second grade Bear Awards will be distributed on the 19th, on Tuesday. Third and fourth grade students will receive their awards on Wednesday, the 20th, and fifth and sixth will receive their awards on Thursday, the 21st. We will have a honor roll breakfast as well for students who made the honor roll for quarter one, and that will be on Friday, November 22nd. Mr. Fantini and I facilitated a de-escalating training for teacher aides and teacher assistants on November 1st, and we focused on 5 key de-escalation techniques such as active listening, empathy and validation, calm communication in the classroom, offering choices, and setting clear boundaries. So teachers also receive this training, so teacher assistants and teacher aides can assist in the classroom with the escalation as well.
And I just wanted to add, I've been continuing to get to know the students. I'm helping put out a weekly bulletin in the elementary school. So it's great to be up to date on students' birthdays, so seeing them around the school. I've been learning a new way to play Uno. I didn't know you could stack 5 blue 2s all at once. So again, I was played at Uno at lunchtime. But it's been really great getting to know the students on a more personal level. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Thank you.
Great. Good evening, everybody. So from the wellness side of things, the cardio room and weight room are now open. We have staff in both locations. We also now have AEDs located in both of those spaces. And we've had a pretty good turnout. I imagine as it gets colder, it's going to be grow even more. We also have our wellness meeting on the 19th. And this past Tuesday, I attended the Healthier Generations Sullivan 180 meeting over at the Cablevision building. There was an opportunity to meet with other wellness coordinators and wellness advisors and see what's going on in their schools and the various different programs that Sullivan 180 offers. So hoping to bring a lot of that here to Tri-Valley if we don't already have it. On the athletics side of things, so we had several teams qualify for sectionals in a what I call above average heat day. Our boys cross country team were sectional champs, and we also had several girls qualify for the state meet. So tomorrow we're doing a send off through the elementary school. So all the kids will line the hallways. They'll walk through, cheer for them, and then they head up to Queensbury, where they will get to do a practice run on the course. They're going to stay the night, and tomorrow is the state championship meet. If you're really interested, you can go on the NISFA, the public athletic website. You can see what the course layout, and they actually have a video of the course. So the closest I'll ever get to running in a state championship meet is on YouTube, and you can, see what it looks like. Our JV and varsity sports begin on Monday. We had quite a few registrations today. Prior to that, I believe we were at about 117 athletes. Modified sports are eligible to begin the following Monday with the Thanksgiving break. It will be determined by the team when they have their first games and stuff like that, if they will start on Monday, but they are eligible to. And then last night we had Van Furman signed his letter to attend Georgetown. So it was really, really nice. I'm really happy for him. And, the more athletes we can get recognized and can get the opportunity to play at the next level is really special. Any questions?
I had one question. How are we doing on coaches for our winter season? Are all teams?
So all teams except for wrestling are filled. I do have someone that is interested. We're just working through the certification process to get them good to go. And then every team would be filled. Anybody else? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item number 4C is the presentation from Sarah Long, Superintendent Long, and Frank Snyder, Assistant Superintendent.
Good evening again. I get to come back. So we're going to take a look at some overviews of data as of right now. It's just going to be Tri-Valley data. We're going to take a look at Tri-Valley and then some Tri-Valley versus state. Data for neighboring districts is embargoed at the moment. They just even gave us access this week. So if anyone's interested later on to know where we compare in the county, we'll be happy to come back and give you that. It's just not available for us to talk about at the moment. So we'll take a look at where we are and, some plans of where we want to go. Oh, that's an old one. Well, so to one of our, all right, we're good. So we had two quotes. We had adjusted one, but really to reach our best, we must see change as not a disruption, but as a catalyst for progress. So as things are changing, we have to change. It feels disruptive, but really if we frame it in the right way, it can help us lead to greater growth and help our kids reach what they need. All right, so we're going to start with the Regents data. We're going to look at January and June. Typically January, our kids usually retaking. One of the exceptions is our honors kids do take the ELA regents in January. June is more of our traditional one. And then we're going to take a look at 3-year trends just to kind of see how we've done the last 3 years. Okay. So we started with math. As you could see, one of the reasons we have a math trainer coming in twice a week, we have realized, especially last year, that this was a need. So we have some trainers coming in looking at performance assessments. So Algebra 1 and geometry are really focus areas for us to improve this year. Algebra 2 did an excellent job where they had everyone pass. Our ELA group doing a phenomenal job, having almost a 90% pass rate in June, which is excellent. Global history, really that team has coalesced and really working from 7 on up to get the kids ready to score. I mean, we have 100% in January and over 90% of passing, that's 65 or above. U.S. history, 97 in June, phenomenal. Again, that department has really come together advocating for what the kids need, really using formulas to help them understand the questions, answer the questions to attain. Living environment is okay, but we have a lot of room to grow. Chemistry, again, above 90, doing very well. Earth science is an 80. It's okay. We'll look, that's a slight dip. And then physics is 100, which is fantastic. So some of our groups and our teachers are putting in a lot of effort and are really seeing the fruits of their labor with the kids that are able to perform at this high of a level. So how does this look in 3 years? So year to year, it's kind of their different groups, but how is our program doing? So we look at Algebra 1 in 2022, we were at 53%. So we saw, this is all June. Last year, we went up to 74. This year in June, they had a new exam, 65. We're still better significantly than we were just 2 years ago. Geometry has, small ebbs and flows, some work to do there. We're looking backwards all the way down into elementary. One of our iReady programs has shown that geometry is an area to target all the way up and through. Algebra 2, jumping the gun. Algebra 2 is, great last year. They've been strong for a while. ELA, as you can see, huge jump from last year. We were in the 70, getting a passing rate. Now we're up to almost 90. Global history really stabilized. What they've been doing for a while has shown. U.S. history, the same. Living environment has been around the same. This Regents is going to be new this year. We have opted to give the old one more time, but that will be changing with the investigations. So really, we're trying to get ahead and start planning what do they need. So we have this current data, but we're in that transition year of trying to get into what the new standards are going to ask. Chemistry is our best year in the last 3 years. Earth science replicates about 2 years ago, not as high as last year. We also had some more kids that maybe would not have traditionally taken Earth science, take Earth science this year. We're trying to push some of our children to take some more rigorous Regents classes. And then physics matched 2 years ago, up from last year. So 3 through 8 testing, we're going to look at, since these are new tests 2 years ago, we're only going to go back to this year, last year, and they did release the state data that we were able to share of just where the overall state score is. So, all right, here we go. So if we look at some of our data, we had some groups that did exceptionally well. If we go just 1 point below the state average, we had 50% of all of our grade levels achieve state proficiency or higher what the state did. So that's an excellent job. Last year, we were closer to 30%. Our third grade team, really exceptional in both ELA and math compared to the state, right on it there. And then for math, significantly above. Fourth grade math, right at the state average. Our sixth grade was a dip, still above the state average. Our group 2 years ago, did an excellent job up in the 65th percent of them, all was a 3 or 4. But we had some excellent things. Seventh grade math, huge jump, met the state average. Excellent job by that team. Eighth grade, again, had a dip, but still met exactly where the state is. And our 8th grade math, again, one of our areas that we are doing some things to change, and Ms. Long will talk about that. Aaron, we'll switch because it's easier to see the next couple. So this is us versus the state this current year. You can see we are very close in a lot of areas. Again, 8th grade, 7th grade, we have good success. Our 3rd grade team and our 4th grade math. So just some real strong teaching, some real strong practices going on, getting our kids prepared to meet these rigorous tests that are always a little changing. And we'll get into some more. And then we're going to do one more compared to where we were last year. So again, some of this year to year, different group of kids, different expectations, different effects for things such as COVID. But as you can see, the blue is this year and last year is the red. Again, 3rd grade stands out, 4th grade math stands out, 7th grade math stands out. So we have some real bright pockets of when we compare ourselves to ourselves, and we have some areas where we need to improve. And that's what Ms. Long will go over, some of our next steps to help move this. Difficult thing about education is you don't get to 1 year, doesn't always just jump to the end. It could be a 3 or 4 year progression to get kids to where they have to be, ready for high school and then career in college. Sorry, I lied. This is the brand new science exam that they gave out. So this was the first year they rolled out next generation science tests. This is going to be similar to what the high school is going to be expected to do next year. They have investigations. It's very different. They don't do the hands-on science lab, which they did in 4th grade. They do lab experiments like in high school, and then the kids have to take that knowledge that they've done over the year and apply it to the exam on top of the other content. So as you can see across the state, we are right around where everyone else did. Our 8th grade team came exactly where the state did. So this is the state's attempt to try something new. Our teachers are then trying to get the training and trying to figure out what are the kids going to be expected to do on these exams. So there's no comparative data, as this is the very first year that it was given last year. It'd be interesting to see how our teachers have adjusted and where our kids perform next year.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. He's been breaking down data for months, and that was a great example of the work that we're doing here. So where do we go from here? I'm going to talk about some of the structural alignment and then professional development that we are working with our staff with. So last year we started to look at a platform we could put together for our students that would be an individual path, and we chose iReady. It's an international research-based program. It's digital and it tailors to each individual student. And we started talking with our teachers last year about it. We did some professional development over the summer, and then we did some work at the beginning of the school to roll this out. So this fall, all of our students in grades K through 2 took a diagnostic exam, and we took that data, and along with working with our professional development, our kids are all in their own individualized, customized math program. We ask that our kids are working on iReady 45 minutes a week total, so it could be a 10-minute center, it could be 2 15 minutes, however the teacher wants to do it, but the kids are self-paced. So they'll get into, let's say, their math program, they'll work on a set of problems. If they master that content, they go to an enrichment. If they don't, then it brings them back to an intervention level. And then our teachers can progress monitor that along. So we will benchmark their initial iReady data in January. So we'll have a comparison from September to January. Then we'll do another benchmark at the end of the school year. So we'll have a year comparison with that. The other thing that we've been doing just as a data-driven approach is really looking at our state assessment data, not only breaking down where our kids are scoring, but looking at individual test questions, trying to look at cohorts and trends. And as Mr. Snyder was talking about, we've already recognized that geometry strand that kids are getting all the way through, we might not be getting to those units because of pacing and the demand of the curriculum. So that's an area and a gap that we're going to start to close up. So we've been really focused on our data. Other things that we're doing is really enhancing our teaching and learning tools. We are an AI school. We have jumped into it. We're working with Magic School AI Mrs. Petit is on the move. She is in classrooms. She's helping teachers understand what a benefit this is. What it really does is it kind of streamlines the teacher's workload. I can be a second grade teacher planning a unit on weather, and I can type into Magic AI, I want to do a science unit on weather, a New York State standard of this. I need 10 days of lessons, 3 activities, a quiz, a project-based assessment with a rubric, and a vocabulary list with definitions. Boom, it'll produce it for us. And it's all aligned to the New York State standards. So that really takes a load off the teachers. It gives them some differentiated instructional ideas, and it's been very successful. We also have adopted the Writing Revolution. That is a structured writing program for our kids in grades 3 through 6. That also is content specific, so it can go to science, it can go to social studies. So we're not just teaching writing in isolation as across the street we've done for years and years and years. We always thought writing had to be taught in ELA, and now we can expand and it's being taught all over. As we mentioned earlier, it's the UFly program. That is the University of Florida Literacy Institute. It has been around for decades. It's a research-based program. It focuses on K2 of those 5 foundational reading skills, the decoding, the phonics, the phonemic awareness, the comprehension, and the vocabulary. So that's been really well received. We also this year have departmentalized 5th and 6th grade. So our teachers are teaching one subject. And so all of our kids are getting the same exact teacher and the same exact instruction for all of their content. And we're pretty excited to see how that rolls out for us. As Ms. Williams mentioned earlier, we are doing a lot of structured time with our MTSS. We are prioritizing our small group interventions, and we're very mindful not to interrupt the core instruction, so kids are not out of the classroom when the core reading and math is happening, and everybody's been very accommodating and adjusting to that. And the professional development side, we are in our second year partnering with Ulster BOCES for our high school math program. They were with us all last year. They came into classrooms, they observed, they did some debriefing with our teachers, they modeled some instruction, they helped them develop assessments, they helped them dig into their data. They're back with us this year as well. During the summer, they were here for 4 days to do some intensive work with our high school team. And then moving forward, we're gonna also add them to support our 5th and 6th grade. So then we will have a vertical alignment of our 5 through 12 math. Over the summer, through grant funds, we did much more work with the Writing Revolution, our American Reading Program, and then the Science of Reading workshops for our K-6 teachers. And if you remember last year, we had the opportunity through New Paltz to join the Science of Reading micro-credential that Sullivan BOCES got us involved with. We had over 57 teachers do the Science of Reading credential, and that's really puts us in great shape. The commissioner has required that at the end of next year, I think that all districts have a Science of Reading based reading system, and we have that with the American Reading Company. So I'm really pleased to brag about that. We also have our consultant for literacy who's back with us again. We've contracted her with 20 days, so she's in our elementary classrooms again supporting our teachers. We have 4 iReady trainings to continue that work with iReady about how to read the progress monitoring and then what the tailored student learning plans are. And also in iReady, there's an amazing toolbox of resources for teachers. And so more training will come with that for them. And then finally, Panorama. We took a look at this last year when Ms. Williams presented, and we showed an example of a student's dashboard, and that has been very well received. And now as we've gotten into our first 10 weeks and we're knowing our kids, we can pull up and say, why are you failing ELA? Well, it's first period. You come to school late every single day. We didn't know that before. You're missing, 30 minutes of instruction each day, and trying to pinpoint what we can do better to support our kids. Our counselors have taken this and are using it constantly in their conversations with our students and families. So we've really put together some great stuff for our staff and our students. Any questions we can answer?
I have 2 questions. 8th grade math assessment, does that include the kids who are in accelerated math?
That does not. So the kids that take the accelerated math take the algebra regents.
Okay. And with the kids seeming to have a continuous struggle with math, are the number of kids that come up into high school, are the number of kids in accelerated math down compared to like normal?
I don't know if it would be down or up. I don't know if it would. I know we're still closing those gaps from COVID. We truly are, especially around math. Yes. Mhm. Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. So iReady, we did the diagnostic in late September, early October. In January, we'll do our benchmark, and then we'll do a final benchmark for the school year. So we'll have data between September and January, January and June, and then a full year scale. Yes. Mhm.
Regarding Regents exams, are there any updates on the proposed elimination in New York State on Regents?
Yes and no. We're all holding our breath waiting for these blue ribbon standards to give us a plan. So no, but we think there's going to be some changes. We're just waiting for the state to give it to us. They put out a lot of information. They had us all scrambling, and now we're waiting. And we really don't have any guidance yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for those reports. Appreciate it. Moving to item number 5 is the superintendent's report. Ms. Erin Long.
Hello again. First, I want to start tonight by honoring and thanking the work of our area firefighters in our community for this incredible collaboration last weekend as many battled that extensive brush fire. Our junior firefighters were an integral part of this, and we will be honoring them as a school on November 25th. More information to come, but we will be inviting our board to attend that. I also want to thank our varsity football team and their coaches for giving up their last game of the season to volunteer at the fire hall. They were a tremendous help, and it was really moving to walk in and see these boys carrying cases of water and packing lunches and writing notes on the bags for the firefighters and loading pickup trucks. It was just really a very special time for them. I'm so proud of all of them. As Mrs. Eberly reported earlier, we had just a beautiful week last week between the flag ceremony in the front of our school and then our beautiful Veterans Day assembly that was put on by our student council. Mrs. Pulley and I both spoke with a vet that has just recently moved to our district and had not attended an event like this today. And he had said to me, "This is the toughest day in my life, and you made it the best." And it was really moving. It was just a really wonderful morning for everyone. Tonight, as Mrs. Whiteman said, Tara Burke is receiving a township award from the Sullivan County Chamber of Commerce for her work not only as an agricultural teacher, an FFA advisor, a theater club advisor, but really one of our biggest advocates for students and the preservation of our community resources. So a big congratulations to Tara, and we're very proud to call her a Tri-Valley Bear. These are the foils that we have received since our last board meeting. On October 10th, we received a foil from Cindy Mickelson for a request for the copy of 3 quotes for the bidding documents for the furniture purchased from the Chris Company in the amount of $21,329.74 per warrant 0004 on 9/16 as presented at the October 10th, 2024 board meeting, including a copy of all the purchase orders and itemized invoices. We received a foil on October 10th from Janet Diamond for all documents, including employee records, the position of typist, secondary school principal, and assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction pertaining to changes in position, step, or rates of pay to be discussed at the board meeting on October 10th, and the audit report prepared by the external auditor. We received a FOIL on October 17th from Janet Diamond for all documents pertaining to the district's 2019 capital project approved by voters, including the scope of the project presented to the public, all forms and change orders submitted to the New York State Department of Education and Facility Planning, including but not limited to the preliminary approval, project details, evaluation of existing buildings, also the building condition survey, and the balances of all reserve funds in the district's reserve plan. On October 24th, we received a FOIL from Cindy Mickelson, a copy of the 3 quotes or requests for bidding documents for the dimming system work as performed by BMI Supply in the amount of $49,000 and $3,750 per warrant 002 from 8/22 as presented at the September 12th, 2024 Board of Education meeting, including all purchase orders. On November 1st, we received a FOIL from Cindy Mickelson for the budget status report for the 24-25 year, showing the original appropriation and all expenditures for all budget codes to date, any adjustments to the budget, encumbrance, outstanding, and unencumbered balance for each fund and budget code as well, all funds including grant monies. On November 1st, we received a FOIL from Janet Diamond for all documents pertaining to the recent renovations and upgrades to the teacher and staff lounges and office spaces in the district, including the purchase of new furniture and appliances. Documents should include sources of funding, purchase orders, quotes for items, purchases, and invoices for all items, as well as all emails of staff members regarding the renovations and upgrades to the staff areas. On November 7th, we received a FOIL appeal from Cindy Mickelson for the budget status report for 24-25, showing the original budget amounts and year-to-date expenditures on October 1st. A response was received from the records officer, Richard Biebenroth, on October 7th, stating that the records would be sent in 20 business days. The records were received on November 5th. However, the records are clearly incomplete. The taxpayers passed a budget in the amount of $37,273,719, and the budget appropriations that were sent to me only show appropriations codes totaling $17,420,107. Where is the remainder of the report? The total allocations of the funds approved by the taxpayers are not reflected in the budget status report sent to me. I would like all budget lines. Also, please confirm that no salaries or employee benefits are being paid out of grant funds as documented in the records I received. So since the start of the 24-25 school year, we have received 17 FOILs and 1 FOIL appeal. The business office has dedicated approximately 168 hours of work time to process these FOILs. And currently, as of today, we've been charged $5,197.50 for 24 hours of processing work from our attorneys. Finally, tomorrow, as Mr. Crudelli said, we have 14 members of our cross-country team heading to the States of Queensbury, and we wish them the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Moving to item number 6, items the board would like pulled from tonight's agenda. Anybody? Moving to item number 7 is the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the entire consent agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Rose, second by Nicole. Please proceed to vote.
Not yet.
There it is.
That is 6 yes and
That is 6 yes and 1 no. Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board approves the entire consent agenda, categories 7 through 12. Moving to item number 13 is board committee reports. We do not have anything for tonight. Item number 14 is old business. I'm not aware of anything for old business for tonight. And we move to item number 15 is public comment session for items that are not on tonight's agenda. I don't have anyone signed up. Item number 16 is announcements, reminders, and upcoming events. Anybody have anything there? Okay. Item number 17, under new business, we have one item is approval for a school district agreement. It is an action. Can I have a motion for the approval of the school district agreement?
Motion.
Motion by Rose,
Second.
second by Travis. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
that is unanimous.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the agreement between the Tri-Valley Central School District and the Devereaux Foundation as attached to the executive portion of the agenda. Moving to item number 18 is the board comment session. We'll go around the room. Tammy?
I'd just like to congratulate Miss Burke on the Town of Neversink Township Award that she's receiving tonight. She's certainly a positive role model for our children, and she's just a wonderful human being in general, and I'm very happy for her to be receiving this award. It's well deserved. My deepest condolences to the families of Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Stevens. How is any update on the new Parent Square app?
So Parent Square is working quite well. What we noticed today was we have to double check to make sure people haven't signed up to receive the digest version. So what will happen is it will consolidate all the Parent Square messages and send them out at one time, so at like 6:30. So when I sent out the message Saturday morning about the cancellation of the football game, some people didn't get it till Saturday night, and that was because we think they have the digest version. Other than that, I think our staff is using it quite well in communicating, and I think it's well received.
Okay. So the one thing I noticed about it, I've received a couple notifications from my children's teachers regarding parent-teacher conferences, and you're able to sign up for a time slot directly in the app. However, I'm able to see the other parents that are signing up.
Okay, good to know.
So I don't know if that's something that we can address for some confidentiality.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. I peeked into the senior space. Are they working on their paintings?
So currently the paintings are lining our windows. We're just waiting for the hooks to arrive so that we can get them in properly. So they're on display, but they're
out here.
Yes.
Okay. Um, I'd just like to acknowledge the Veterans Day ceremony. It was very well attended, very well put together. The Field of Flags looks absolutely amazing. The new flag on the flagpole looks great out there. That was noticed actually by my children on the way home from school, and they remarked on the size of it and how nice it looked in front of the school. The feelings carpets.
So those are delivered. They're not in classrooms yet, but they're on their way.
Okay. That's all I have for this evening.
Sure. Just thank you, FFA. What a great presentation. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. I really appreciate what you're doing for our school. Also, just to piggyback on the junior firefighters, God bless you all, the men and women, our junior firefighters that really helped out with this. To really see community come together is just a huge, huge, huge accomplishment for Tri-Valley School and the community in the area. And not to throw it at you, but what was that dollar amount again regarding the foils? And is that staff money?
That is taxpayer dollars.
Taxpayer dollars that's
5,000.
paying for all of that, all of these foils that you read off.
Well,
to
it's
us?
coming out of our budget, which is taxpayer dollars. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, we consult with our attorney for some of the more sensitive ones or some of the ones that require a lot of processing. Mhm.
It is interesting. Thank you.
Eric?
All right, here we go. I think I got it. I got it this time. So a couple of things. Congratulations, FFA. My daughter actually attended that, and it was just an unbelievable experience for any child that was there. She said to be in a stadium with 70,000 people when you come from Little Grahamsville was pretty amazing. We are on the map. We are on the map. Tri-Valley FFA. Congratulations to the new staff that are here. I don't want to embarrass you, but congratulations. Welcome back.
It's a great
alumni.
segue.
Very,
So
very
we
happy.
have
I
Amanda
know.
Martin is here. Amanda, will you stand up? So we welcome you. Thank you. And Macy Shamrow is returning as a leave replacement for Mrs. So Macy, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
The Veterans Day Assembly was just done phenomenally. At the end of the ceremony, I went to thank, and it's piggyback off of what Aaron said, one of the gentlemen in attendance, and he was almost brought to tears. Number one, by being recognized for something he's generally never been recognized for. He was a Cold War veteran. Number two, he's recently moved to our district, so he's never physically been in our building before. And when they did that standing ovation, he said he's never experienced anything like it before. And he was just completely impressed, not just by our building or our community, but our children and how they understood the importance of Veterans Day. So it was beautifully done, well done to the administrators, and also the administrators who wouldn't come forward to be recognized for your service. Thank you for your service. The kids were so quick to clap that sometimes you didn't hear the names, but I just wanted to thank you for your service. Um, the next thing I have is Tara Baresic. Burke, absolutely well deserved. The time that she dedicates to our community, it's truly remarkable. And Saturday was just an unbelievable day for our community. From what I understand, I was there with Aaron and some other board members. That football team, you have to be incredibly proud, Kevin and the coaches. What those boys did, schlepping things back and forth from trucks and moving coolers, there was not one complaint from not one of those boys, and their game was canceled. And for seniors to not have that final football game, I was moved. Personally, I was brought to tears. Kevin, you have to be incredibly proud of those kids because they really did Tri-Valley proud that day. And not only that, I think from what I was told from the Facebook post, it was minutes for our community to come together and start donating things down to Grahamsville. Growing up here, you always knew it was a special community, but that day truly showed why we are all sitting at this table, why we live in this community, why you teach in our administrators, and how our community comes together in the worst of times, but for the best purposes to make sure that we stick together. And those junior firefighters, my nephew is one of them. I was worried about him tremendously, as well as the other kids in town, and we're very blessed to have the kids that we have here. So I think that's all I have for tonight. But just be grateful we do live in this community because it doesn't happen everywhere.
Thank you. Nicole? Thank you. Rose?
I think my fellow board members did a great job of saying how I feel about our community and just what a great showing that we do uh, for other districts in the area too. I've had people come to me and say how they admire what goes on in our district and our Veterans Assembly. I wasn't able to attend, but I've heard people from other districts compliment us on that, and my own children as well. Really, they took a lot from that. And I will be at States this weekend. I'm looking forward to see our students run.
Thank you, Rose. Pat?
A lot of great things have been said, and I will just reiterate all of them.
Okay, I just want to thank my fellow board members who attended the conference in New York City 2 weeks ago. And we will be getting some interesting information at our next retreat next week. Just want to thank everybody again. Okay, so that's it. You're good? Okay. Moving to item number 19 is adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Pat,
Second.
second by Rose. Please proceed to vote. As unanimous, thank you. It is 8:32. Thank you. Safe home, everyone. Thank you for coming.